God's preferential option for the poor. Catholic scholars coined the phrase God's preferential option for the poor to describe a phenomenon they found throughout both the Old and New Testaments, God's partiality toward the poor and the disadvantaged. I used to wonder, why would God single out the poor for special attention over any other group, poor deserving of God's concern? I received help on this issue from a writer named Monica Helwig, who lists the following advantages to being poor. The poor know they are in urgent need of redemption. The poor know not only their dependence on God and on powerful people but also their interdependence with one another. The poor rest their security not on things but on people. The poor have no exaggerated sense of their own importance, and no exaggerated need of privacy. The poor expect little from competition and much from cooperation. The poor can distinguish between necessities and luxuries. The poor can wait, acquired a kind of dogged patience born of acknowledged dependence. The fears of the poor are more realistic and less exaggerated, because they already know that one can survive great suffering and want. When the poor have the gospel preached to them, it sounds like good news and not like a threat or a scolding. The poor can respond to the call of the gospel with a certain abandonment, an uncomplicated totality, because they have so little to lose, and are ready for anything. In summary, through no choice of their own, they may urgently wish otherwise, poor people find themselves in a posture that befits the grace of God. In their state of neediness, dependence, and dissatisfaction with life, they may welcome God's free gift of love. As an exercise I went back over Monica Helwig's list, substituting the word rich for poor, and changing each sentence to its opposite. The rich do not know they are in urgent need of redemption. The rich rest their security not on people but on things. Jesus said something similar in Luke's version of the Beatitudes, but that portion gets much less attention. But woe to you who are rich, for you have already received your comfort. Next, I tried something far more threatening. I substituted the word I. Reviewing each of the 10 statements, I asked myself if my own attitudes more resembled those of the poor or of the rich. Do I easily acknowledge my needs? Do I readily depend on God and on other people? Where does my security rest? Am I more likely to compete or cooperate? Can I distinguish between necessities and luxuries? Am I patient? Do the Beatitudes sound to me like good news or like a scolding? As I did this exercise, I began to realize why so many saints voluntarily submit to the discipline of poverty. They are more naturally dependent, because they have no choice. They must. Dependence, humility, simplicity, cooperation, and a sense of abandon are qualities greatly prized in the spiritual life, but extremely elusive for people who live in the comfort of the world. There may be other ways to God, but, oh, they are hard as a camel squeezing through the eye of a needle. There are very few prosperous saints. I do not believe the poor to be more virtuous than anyone else, though I have found them more compassionate and often more generous. Unlike the wise of the world, they are less likely to be arrogant and pretend to be virtuous. They have not the arrogance of the middle class, who can skillfully disguise their problems under a facade of self-righteousness. I now view the Beatitudes not as patronizing slogans, but as profound insights into the mystery of human existence. God's kingdom turns the tables upside down. The poor, the hungry, the mourners, and the oppressed truly are blessed. Not because of their miserable states. Of course Jesus spent much of his life trying to remedy those miseries. Rather, they are blessed because of an innate advantage they hold over those more comfortable and self-sufficient. People who are rich, successful, and beautiful may well go through life relying on their natural gifts. People who lack such natural advantages might be underqualified for success in worldly ways, but might just be willing to turn to God in their time of need. Human beings do not readily admit desperation, but when they do, the kingdom of heaven draws near. From the Gospel of Luke chapter 1 verses 49 to 53, For the Almighty has done great things for me. Holy is his name, and his faithful love extends age after age to those who fear him. He has used the power of his arm, he has rooted the arrogant of heart. He has pulled down princes from their thrones and raised high the lowly. He has filled the starving with good things, sent the rich away empty. Are you arrogant? Are you the wise and understanding of the world? Do you believe that you are self-sufficient? Or are you willing to join the poor, and humbly listen to, and live the word of God? The fall of Rome, the biggest and greatest of all empires, was due to the faith of people the Romans deemed weak, and inconsequential. The more they tried to squash them, the stronger their faith grew until Rome, with all its might and cruelty, became the very weak and inconsequential people they looked down upon. Kailan Gao.